I have a confession. I am a piler. Now my weapon of choice is the basket. I run around, I put all that stuff that I don't know what I want to do with in the basket till I'm ready to deal with it. The thing with piles is that they can multiply before your eyes. Maybe you don't use baskets like I do. Maybe you keep them on the edge of your kitchen bench, or you have a chair in your bedroom that you throw all that stuff onto that you don't want to deal with. Don't be ashamed. Piling is an absolute great tool to getting messes cleaned up in a really quick way, to staying less overwhelmed, all of the things. So I am all for piling, but the things with these doom piles is you have to know how to defeat them. So I'm going to give you 5 simple tips if you are like me and a piler, to how you can stay on top of them, use them to work for you instead of against you. My number 1 tip for dealing with piles that has absolutely changed the game to me is, instead of looking at this pile as one task to be done, which is super daunting and kind of makes me not want to do it at all, I actually look at this as my to-do list. So each item in here is just one item off my to-do list. And then all I'm trying to focus on is, maybe each time I walk past it, I'm going to try and pick out either one item or a few items that I can put in its home, and then that's one thing I can cross off my to-do list. Now, the great news is, if there's trash, if there's items to be decluttered, all of those can go out really quickly, and then you can cross them all off in your mind. But thinking about this as not just one big job to be done, but just as a to-do list of things that you will get done over the course of a day, or if it's just this constant project that you're constantly working through wherever you keep your piles, this is a game changer for making it seem way, way, way more achievable, as well as actually being able to get all of those like items out and back to where they belong. Guys, back in the 90s, a long time ago, I used to play a game called Altered Beast, and one of the bosses would like spew out little versions of itself that you would have to defeat. But the key was, you actually wanted to defeat the big boss and not the little bosses. And you're like, Sarah, where are you going with this? If you are like me and a piler, it is very tempting to take your big pile and to make little piles of stuff. You're like, yeah, this is going to this location, or I'm going to put all of this project together. And that sounds really good, but it actually creates more mess that's a little bit harder to manage. So what I would encourage you to do is leave all of that stuff as a big boss. Then if you are going somewhere, say for example, you're going to your laundry, pick out all of those things that are going to belong in your laundry, but don't pile them. The key is that once they're leaving here, they're going to their final destination. It's the one-touch method. It will really help you to defeat your piles much faster. So guys, this tip is less about dealing with your piles and more about stopping some things from ending up in your doom pile. So I actually, when I first heard this, I thought that is way too simple. It's not going to work for me, but it works so well. And it is, I say to myself like a million times a day, don't put it down, put it away. So if I am making a coffee and I put coffee grounds into my coffee machine, I don't put it down, I put it away. And so much of my day, I am doing exactly that in my head. I'm like, don't put it down, put it away. Don't put it down, put it away. And then it leaves less things that end up in piles. So the thing with stuff in your piles is, at the moment, these things are homeless. They are outside of their home. So one of the easiest ways to look at what you have in your pile and decide where to start is to start with the items where they already have a home and take them there.
Oh, why didn't you just go home? That's your home! Are you too good for your home?
So that is going to make it way easier for your brain because these things have already, a choice has already been made as to where they live. You're just returning them to their home. Whereas the other items that maybe are temporary things like party invitations or a bill that needs to be paid or something that doesn't yet have a home or it needs something before it can go back to its home, those things are going to take a little bit longer, so leave them till last. But taking out all of those things where you already know where it will belong is a great way to build up that momentum, get rid of a whole heap of stuff out of that pile really quickly and easily, and then you can move on to those harder things afterwards. Tip number 5 is decluttering is the cheat code. So I know that not all of you love decluttering as much as I do, but seriously, once you understand how to make the declutter dopamine kick in, you will see that when you either trash something, declutter it, send it off to the donation bin, it's actually way less work than you having to keep it. It is way quicker to let go of something than to keep it for a future project or to have to find a home for it or to have to keep storing it or for you to keep going over these same items over and over again. So if you are on the edge with an item, just remember that it is actually way easier to declutter that item than to keep having all of these projects. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want you to declutter things just because it's easier without actually thinking, will I use this? Do I need it? All of those normal things. So if there is 2 options, if you're thinking about it, just remember that decluttering is the cheat code. It is the easy way out, and it's one less thing that you have to look after. It's one less thing in those doom piles. So if you can get it out the door and out of your life, you will be so much happier. So guys, I hope that next time you are feeling overwhelmed and you need to just pile some stuff so that you can regain some mental clarity, or next time you get that call of like, we're around the corner, can we pop in and visit? And you need to do a quick 15-minute stress clean to get everything looking presentable again, that you don't feel embarrassed or ashamed to use the piling technique to work for you, knowing full well that you have some tools in your toolbox to deal with those piles once you are ready or free to do so, because this tool can be amazing at working for you as long as you know how to deal with those piles once the time comes.